So I got something to say, and this is in relation to the Canelo Triple G fight that we pretty much everyone suspects is going to be both of those guys' first fight after, you know, the coronavirus situation is lifted.
Right, probably in September.
Probably in September, hopefully in September, right? So both sides, or
what you got?
I shouldn't even say both sides. I should say Canelo's side is already beginning the war of words. So Canelo's trainer, Eddie Reynoso, said yesterday that
trainer of the year
says that he doesn't see in any way, shape, or form how this fight is going to go the distance. The third fight, says that, you know, that Canelo's going to finish him this time. That's the talk that's coming everywhere. Now, I do not doubt that Canelo is going to win the third fight. Usually, if you look through history and you look at all of the great rivalries and trilogies between two fighters, especially when there's a fairly significant gap in age, the deeper into the trilogy, the bigger the advantage the younger man has. And it only makes sense, right? So I do believe that Canelo wins this walking away, but I don't believe he's going to stop Golovkin. Golovkin's chin has just proven to be just granite against some people who we know can crack, including Canelo. So that's my take.
So, well, I disagree with the both of you. So I first of all, I don't think, well, first of all, the first fight was a draw. And I don't even think it should have been a draw. I think that Triple G won that fight. The second fight was a very close fight. What we did see was we saw a Canelo that employed a different strategy, came forward. He confused Triple G, took the fight to him. He made the fight. He made the action. But it was still a very close fight. Could have been a draw. I even scored it for Triple G. I have no argument with Canelo having won that fight. I wrote a story in Forbes that I remember, okay, that was boxing needs to revisit the way it judges fights, because I felt like that fight too was, you know, maybe not scored the best. And if you remember, it was the first fight that we had the really outlandish scorecard by Adelaide Bird, right? Was it the first? Was it the first one or was it the second one?
It was the second one, I believe.
Okay. There was one. So to my point, and if you go back and Google that and Peter Kahn, Forbes, you know, Canelo, Triple G, you know, whatever. I think it was boxing needs to revisit I think it was Canelo versus Triple G 2, you know, aftermath. Boxing needs to revisit the way it's, you know, scores fights, whatever. Anyway, the point I'm making is this. I think that, Brian, what's the last thing to go for a fighter?
The power. Right.
And who has power out of the two of those guys? I know they both do, but who's the real, who's made his name?
Golovkin's got that sledgehammer.
Got that power. And by the way, my rebuttal here, I might just kind of ask you, I might ask the witness some questions. I hope you don't mind.
No.
Okay.
This is free to speak.
Okay. Thank you. So the power is still going to be there. Yes, Triple G had a tough time with Derevyanchenko. I think Derevyanchenko had the fight of his life. Okay. And a very good fighter who people might underestimate. So with that being said, what I'm really thinking here is, like I said, with Danny Jacobs, who kind of ran out of time, but started to realize. Now, Canelo has a granite chin, as we saw in that Jacobs fight. I mean, we all know that punch that I'm talking about, where he basically took like one of those Rocky style, you know, the head swivels around, comes right back, nothing happens. You know, I'm not saying that I think Triple G is going to stop Canelo, but I don't see Canelo stopping Triple G. And I do think that he has to be mindful of Triple G's power. He can't just take it for granted that he's going to walk through that. Remember, Canelo's also getting older. Although he hasn't been through too many tough fights recently, Kovalev gave him a heck of a fight. Danny Jacobs was a little too cautious. I know Jacobs had trouble making weight. I know there are a lot of issues there. I just think that, you know, for a comment to be made, I think maybe they're trying to sell it a little bit. I honestly think that Canelo thinks that fight's just not really a sellable fight. I also feel that that's not a fight that he necessarily wants. From what I heard, DAZN basically wouldn't sign off on the Billy Joe Saunders fight until Canelo agreed that the Triple G fight would be the next fight. Then, of course, we have Saunders getting in trouble, getting suspended in boxing by, you know, the British Board Boxing Control, and then the WBO chimed in. Then the coronavirus hit us. So at that point, you know, everything was shut down and they were going to go straight to the Triple G fight anyway. So, you know, whether they're trying to play some mind games, listen, Canelo's going to have had a heck of a time off as well of inactivity. So, I mean, I don't see him coming in. It's just not Canelo's style either. He's not going to be reckless and very aggressive. He's going to be methodical. He's going to be strategic. He's either going to be the counterpuncher like he was in the first fight, or he's going to try to bring the fight forward. And I really do believe that if anyone's going to be prepared for the adjustment this time, it's going to be Triple G, because Triple G fights one way. Okay, so Canelo was able to prepare for that one way. And in the second fight, Triple G, I believe, was not prepared for a forward-coming aggressive Canelo.
Yeah, he wasn't. First 5 rounds.
But don't underestimate that power, because it only takes one nice shot to get hurt. And the other thing is, you know, I think Kovalev was in the fight, even though it was at a bigger weight. And the other question I have is, what weight are they going to fight at? Is it going to be middleweight? Is it going to be a catch weight? Is Canelo going to struggle getting back down to 60? Where's that fight going to be?
I believe that. I really do believe that. And I honestly believe that might have something to do with why Canelo doesn't really want to fight Triple G again, because getting back down to that weight. I think that might have something to do with it. Not that Triple G can't make a bigger weight, because I'm sure he can too, because I'm quite sure it's not, you know, peaches and roses for a 38-year-old his size to make 160 either. But, you know, and he did just turn 38 less than a week ago. Okay,
so, but Canelo's also been fighting since he's 15 years old.
Right. So he's an old 29.
He's got a lot of wear and tear on him too.
Yeah, he's an old 29 for sure. He is. Because when you say Canelo's 29, you're like, really? He's only 29? Because it feels like he's 34.
Right.
You know. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I do believe Canelo wins. I do believe that he wins more convincingly than any of them have performed in either the first 2 fights. But I agree, he will not knock him out. But I do believe he'll win a little bit more convincingly than maybe it seems like you do. But we'll see.